Today's video is going to be a bit of a cautionary tale on how being in business doesn't always earn you friends, and in fact sometimes it will turn people against you, and I've experienced this quite a lot, unfortunately, being in business. The crux of this story is how a business move, in fact into the Barrow Motors premises, meant that this family heirloom car, my late grandmother's Mini, has ended up completely ruined in pieces. So I'm also going to be asking for your help at the end of this video. But before we do that, let me just explain what's gone on here. Back in 1974, when my dad was working potentially either for the gas board or as a gas engineer, that's what he's done his entire life. When he was 24 years old, he bought this car for my grandmother for £1,250, I believe, brand new. And it was the last car that she ever had on the road. And it was this lovely little orange Mini Clubman Estate. And she absolutely loved that car. And some of my earliest memories are being in the back of that car, but inevitably she stopped driving at some point and she has now passed away, sadly. But this car has forever hung around. My dad had it stored in a council lockup for 10 to 20 years until we cleared it out at one point and it went into our storage unit for our plumbing business, which is where we can see it in one of these pictures here. I will show you kind of like the story from kind of where I really get involved. Other than helping to move it from the storage lockup to where it is here. This was our storage unit for the plumbing business. In fact, this point here, I've already done quite a lot of clearing out, but you can see here is the little Mini Clubman with a flat tyre. There it is, next to a Spitfire that's my dad's as well, and is also in a very sorry state. But this Mini Clubman actually doesn't look too bad here, but it did have some rust, it didn't run, and it had just been sat around for a very long time. But everything was there, all the interior was there, all the paperwork was there. Can't see the number plate on this one, but I'm sure if we scroll through, we'll find another picture here somewhere where it's on a ramp. This is in my first unit where I started doing motorbikes. My dad had kept hold of this, I'm sure for very sentimental reasons, exactly how I feel about it as well. Now, while my dad likes to leave things sitting around and doesn't worry about fixing them up, just likes having them, it kind of pains me to see things getting worse and worse and deteriorating when I feel like we could have fixed them up. This unit was actually full of obsolete and old new stock plumbing items. You know, there might have been things for boilers. Because he's been a plumber for 50, 60 years, as plumbers merchants would close down, he'd go in and he'd buy up all their old stock. So he'd have timers on the shelf there for boilers that they no longer make. But if someone was looking for it, you could make some money out of it. So I wanted to clear this unit out, and I made a deal with him that if I list all this stuff on eBay and we'd sell it, we would pool the money together and we would spend it on getting this Mini repaired. And that's what we did. As I was sort of sorting this unit out, ready to start selling motorbikes at the time before I got into cars, I was using a garage that was on the same trading estate, and they had done quite a few kind of car restorations. It's quite friendly with them, so I said, would you be up for doing this car? It's my grand's car, it's quite sentimental. It's gonna need like a whole restoration essentially, but what we want is to be able to give it to someone and let them take care of everything from beginning to end. We discussed rough ideas of prices and that was fine. It would just be really nice to see this car back on the road, and my dad wanted to be able to take it to shows. So this was back in 2018, probably mid 2018, and this garage started working on the car. They took it in, they completely stripped it down. As you can see here, this is the bare shell. They'd taken everything out, stored it in a storage unit. They were going to get right back to the bare shell so they could do any welding repairs, they could send it off to be blasted, and it all looked pretty good. They made quite quick progress to start off with, and I suppose it's easy to rip stuff out of a car, but it did slow up after there. We knew they were going to be fitting it around other jobs, so it wasn't going to be the fastest. They wanted to keep the price down for us, and it was going to be a bit of a passion project for them, which was fine, but it did take probably longer than we expected. You can probably see, you know, they've got all the panels off. There is a big dent in the side here, which shouldn't be a huge issue to repair. The good news with these classic Minis is there are parts available absolutely everywhere, aftermarket parts that would have got this all back together should you need it. You can get whole panels that you can weld in, which is exactly what they were going to do. But once they got it down to this bare shell, they then sent it for some reason up north somewhere to be shot blasted. I don't know why. I wasn't as experienced in the motor trade then as I am now, and I know of people locally that would have done it quite easily and quickly, but they sent it somewhere up north on a wrecker, you know, like a big recovery truck for some reason, because they're already going that way. Had it shot blasted, media blasted, and then painted in, I guess, a weld-through primer. I'm sure he said it was some kind of zinc primer, but this is what it is here. Probably actually isn't great because you can see it's got oil splattered up the side of it. But this is what it was looking like. And then you can see where all the rust was. That might not have been quite so obvious, but all around all the window frames, around the bottom of the doors, there was a fair bit of rust in it, but as far as classic Minis go, probably not the end of the world, and certainly not the worst. This is the other side. You can see where they've probably started to scrape out a line here to be able to weld in new bits of plate. And here was a piece that someone was getting ready to weld into one of the door shuts. I look at this and I don't know whether they were really doing great fabrication work or not. I don't know how you'd go about it really with a Mini, because I don't think they'd got the metal out from behind there. They were just kind of welding over the top. While it may have looked good in the end, would it have been the best way of doing it? I don't know really. At this point here, I'm just looking at the dates on the photo. This is October 2019, so it's been a year at this point before they're getting around to doing any kind of actual fabrication and repairs on the car. Same day, here it is under its cover in their workshop, sort of tucked out of the way, sat on a couple of oil drums. Now, around a similar sort of time, I'd bought a Mitsubishi L200 from a transport company because it had broken down outside of our unit, and they were from Ireland, or Northern Ireland. They didn't want it back again. I think I bought it for a very small amount, you know, maybe it was like £800, when actually at the time, I think the vehicle was probably worth maybe £8,000 or £9,000, even on 130,000 miles, but it needed quite serious engine repairs, which we weren't doing at the time. It was just myself and Dan, and we had one little ramp for doing servicing. So we spoke again to our friends at this garage, and they were more than up for it. Took the vehicle, ordered lots of parts, again, stripped the vehicle down. If we try and go through some of the pictures, you can see the whole head off, turbo off. And maybe if we carry on through, they don't look it, but these are new camshafts which have gone rusty in the back. You can see a whole gasket set here. We've got a whole new radiator, I believe. I'd spent hundreds, if not well into the thousands, on parts for this vehicle for them to put it back together. But again, this wasn't a job that was dragging on, unfortunately. None of this was really an issue though, up until the point that I agreed to take over the Barrow Motors site, as it became, and they got wind of this. I got a message, which actually I can probably find and show you on my phone, that said, could you come in and speak to me and the other partner in this business, please? And I thought, sure. Went in to go and sit down with them, and thought it was probably going to be something to do with, I don't know, the next plan for the Mini, or I honestly didn't know. But what it ended up being was essentially like being called into the head teacher's office, and they were like, oh, we hear you're taking on the new site. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, oh, well, you're going to be competition with us then, because that's got workshops. Which was a bit of a weird thing to decide anyway, because where we were operating from, the industrial unit, already had a ramp, so we could do mechanical repairs. And I had no interest in doing mechanical repairs or running a workshop. And in fact, if they'd approached it in a different way, I would have quite happily sent them all of the demand that we would have got from there. But they were adamant that essentially it was a case of, if you're going to have workshops, you can work on your own cars. And that was literally as blunt as they were about it. It wouldn't really fly with me these days. I guess I've built a bit of confidence, and I don't stand for as much rubbish. At the time, I was taking over a new business, which I was incredibly stressed about because it was a really big commitment. And I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do. I had an ex-business partner who in fact was kind of in bed with this garage as well, who owed me a lot of money. We're talking about £16,000 and still had cars, and was generally not a good person. And that was very stressful because I was trying to get away from him, walking a bit of a tightrope between getting away, trying to keep him happy enough so I still get my money, but didn't want to be associated with him whatsoever. We were just going into COVID and all sorts of problems that were going on with that. And at the time, I think I was going through a breakup as well. So I was very stressed, and this was just one more thing to add to the pile. And in fact, believe it or not, I'm now about 17 stone, but at the time I was 10 stone because I just didn't eat, because that's how stressed I was. So when they called me in and basically told me that they could no longer work on my vehicles, and I would have to have the Mini back, and I would have to have the L200 back, but they also still wanted to bill me £1,500 for the latest work. You know, we'd paid them previously for work on the Mini. I can't even remember what this bill was for. I certainly wasn't happy, and in fact we had a bit of an argument afterwards because they presented me with an invoice, which I paid, and at a later date then said, oh no, that was meant to be a cash price, so you haven't paid VAT. So at that point I just kind of said, you can swivel, really. I'm not giving you any more. You give me an invoice, you get paid. You know, if you don't put the figures on the invoice, that's your problem. So we had to go and collect these vehicles. So we went and picked up the Mini with my dad, which was quite upsetting for me because this was his mum's car, and it was my decision to use this garage who were going to fix up this vehicle so that he could enjoy it, take it to shows, so that I could feel good that we got it done, because they felt threatened by the fact that I was taking over a lease for a site that had a workshop. They weren't going to work on it anymore and were just absolute heads about it, really. So we collected both of those vehicles. I didn't have anyone at the time that was a mechanic capable of doing the work required on the L200 or the Mini. So the L200 was sold as a going concern with the parts. You know, it needs timing and it needs a new head, but pretty much everything is there. And I think, you know, I lost money for sure. Maybe lost 1,000 or 2 on it, but I was able to get it out. Obviously the Mini was never going to go anywhere because it was going to stay with us. And I was quite sort of energised to get on with it and find someone else who would take it on. Maybe a Mini specialist, a classic car specialist. And I shopped around and spoke to a lot of people, and people sound interested. And I think no one really wants to take on someone else's project. So for the last 6 years, it has been sat in storage, left as it was, with no real hopes of anything happening with it. I think my dad got so frustrated with it that he was going to try and take it on himself, but he is 75 years old, and I think it's probably a tall ask, really. And I just don't have time to take it on. Wouldn't have the skills either to take on a classic car restoration like this. So I am hoping that someone can help out and I can pay a good price to get a good job done, and we could get this car back on the road, because it would be a really nice thing for my dad to be able to see it again. But it has been probably 4 or 5 years since I've seen this car, since we put it away in storage with a cover over it. To see what this car's actually looking like now, we're gonna have to go and pick up my dad, go out to a little barn that he's been renting for the last 5 years, see what kind of condition this car is actually in. So, we think 4 or 5 years
Been here 4 or 5 years, yeah.
You could probably do with a new tarpaulin. Well, it's certainly not got any better, but it's not got hugely worse.
No.
Funny looking at it, because I think I was looking through some pictures earlier, and he'd started to make a start on some fabricating for bits in here. He obviously never bothered to actually put them in or leave them. The engine bay's turned into a pigeon poop collecting thing. Yeah. Just annoyingly, it would need. Whole point was meant to be that it was blasted and then zinc coated or whatever, so that it wouldn't.
Ready to go.
So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess the worst of it would come off again. And then we've got a trailer full of parts over here, hopefully. Don't even know if we had to get into this without being able to pull the trailer out, but all our parts are in there, aren't they? Headlining, seats, all the trims and everything. We hope we got all the trims, but we've certainly got most of the major parts.
I've got the front end in the engine at the shed at home.
Yeah. I think the engine was seized, but it's not going to be too much hard work to probably get one of them running.
38,000 miles.
Yeah. I think it was 38 or 40 something, wasn't it? 41 maybe. One owner, which was my dad. You would have bought it in 1974.
1974 for your nan.
Yeah, we got the...
£1,254.
Yeah, brand new. Still got the receipt somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, I have phoned around loads of places trying to get people, Mini specialists, all that sort of stuff, to take it on, and some of them sound quite interested, but it's never gone anywhere. And maybe I think once they realise it's someone else's half-finished project, that's the problem you got, isn't it, when you start something and then abandon it, that we're a bit stuck. But if you are a Mini specialist or a classic car restorer, then we do want to get it back on the road. Look at this little face. He'd love to see that back on the road. I'd like to see it back on the road. And yeah, it's a bit beyond my capabilities. Having the time. Dad was going to have a crack himself, but it's a hell of a job. Hell of a job.
Yeah, well, the brain and the hands still work, but the body don't. So.
Yeah, tell me about it. But yeah, that is where it's been for the longest time. It's annoying because we're in a worse position than we were when it was all together.
That's right.
And whatever, because now they've started it and then buggered off. It's a worse scenario. So yeah, if you do want to work on this, then get in touch with me. I'll put an email address down the bottom. So, having been out and looked at the car, not as bad as it could have been. It's definitely worse than when we parked it up, but that's to be expected. Where do we go from here? I don't know. If you know any classic car restorers, or you are one, and you're genuinely up to the job, then please do get in touch. You can email me at joe@burrowmotors.co.uk. I would love to, get this car worked on, and if you're not into doing content creation but you'd like to, I'm sure we could help out and we could document some of this, because I'd like to think the viewers would like to see it done. I'd certainly like to see it done, because I don't have time until I retire, at which point it will become a passion project, if there's anything left of it at that point. More importantly for me is I would like to see this car finished running back on the road, even if it has to be towed to shows so that my dad can see it again. That's the main thing for me. So any recommendations are welcome. Sadly, my experience in business has given me a lot of examples where starting a business, closing a business, taking on new contracts, losing contracts, changing the type of work that you do will lose you a lot of friendly relationships because people are either threatened or because you're no longer useful to them. And people will end up resenting you even if they thought you were the best thing since sliced bread before. Sadly, that just seems to be the way it has. And yeah, the more you seem to bend over backwards to do more than you ought to do for people, the worse it seems to be. So, cautionary tale. There's no friends in business. I guess that's the oldest saying in the world, isn't it? I think, personally, it's a very sad situation because I hadn't done anything wrong whatsoever. And in fact, that relationship could have blossomed and developed into more rather than have to be, shut down completely because they were threatened. But let's say, for example, it was me that had that car working on it for someone else, and I knew the sentimental value to it and the fact that it was a family heirloom and that it was a one-owner car with 40,000 miles and it was, bought by my dad brand new and he wanted to see it back on the road. Even if I'd really fallen out with that person, if I committed to do the work on it, I think I would carry on doing it and I wouldn't give it back to them as a box of bits and a massive headache for someone else. And I'm getting quite annoyed just thinking about it now. I'm annoyed with myself, as I say, for paying the bill. I'm even more annoyed with them. I won't name the business because there's no sense, actually, because they were a partnership and one of them, the biggest idiot of the pair, ended up having a punch up with someone putting up signage, something to do with the landlord, and he got kicked out of the business and the site. The landlord said if he doesn't go, you can't have the site anymore. It's now changed names. The remaining partner seemed somewhat not apologetic, but I had to see him again to go and collect the glass for this car, and he seemed a bit awkward and embarrassed, as you would imagine, as I think you would be. I don't know if one had wound up the other or what had been going on, but yeah, a very sad situation. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? What would you? I'm sure lots of people are saying you should take them to court and all that sort of thing, which, yeah, you're probably right, but we're probably past the time limit that we can do that, and I don't want the hassle. I just want this car fixed. That is it for this video. If you want to subscribe, and hopefully in the future, very soon, you'll see some work on this, you can click up here. And if you want to see another video, you can click down here.